Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Tiger Hanger. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the Loyal Subjects update to their packaging, their accessories. This is 2 weeks worth of updates, and I'm doing it Retro Wednesday, so I forced myself to talk about it because I missed 2 weeks of this. So this is the second week, and their update is huge because the vintage packaging, vintage style packaging, looks pretty good. They've done a pretty good job with it. They haven't shown us everything yet, but we see from the front it is what I want. And then they're showing this stuff from the back side or the front side, or all of the different extra add-on features, the extras, the pluses, the what they refer to as Easter eggs. We'll talk about this and a whole lot more on this Retro Wednesday coming up. All right, we're going to get started with Condor. Before we get into that, I just want to say that a lot of people expect every Retro Wednesday to show a whole entire collection of stuff. I try to do that every week, but it's tough. I need weeks like this to catch up on some other topics and maybe complete the rest of that, but have some fun stuff for next week planned. And going into this Condor, so the first thing I want to say, it says Kenner, it says Best AXN, but it is so true to the original format, and it looks great. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to bevel the edges on the flap or not, but let's go ahead and move right into a vintage comparison. What's going to make this fun for me is the historical comparison, because right now this is the cheapest one on eBay. This specifically, it is $161. So the cheapest one you can get, and that's not even sealed. That's just with a box, $161. Now, I noticed a lot of these smaller ones, for whatever reason, it's harder to get the boxes. You would think these would be the cheapest boxes in existence, and they'd be plentiful. But for whatever reason, this is the cheapest one, $161, and it's got a complete one in it. Now, looking at them side by side, it looks like from the renders, the red is pinker on the new one, and that it doesn't have that beveled edge on the top flap. So I'm curiouser if they are going to fix that or change that. They do have similar wording, but there's more words on the new one. But you do get to see Kenner is in the same spot. There's a Best AXN logo on it now. But everything else matches up. The artwork is very, very similar. The transition on the top flap, the transition on the very top is probably exact same. And then the way they set up the actual front. So for me, if they can fix the color on this, I can completely give up on looking for a Condor box, vintage Condor box. And this will be my Condor box in my collection, because I don't actually care that much about having the actual original box. If I can get a modern box that looks like exactly like or as close as this is, maybe fix that red color, please, then I'm happy. But with that, it's a big, big deal, and they are very, very close to the original. Next up is the Thunderhawk, which originally did not have a flap, so that's good, and it looks very close to the original, and we're going to be getting and doing a side-by-side comparison, but it's got all the feels and the look, and I believe eventually these are going to be in the same places that all the other Best AXN figures are from the Loyal Subjects. This is going to be like Walmarts and Targets, somehow, some way. I believe it's going to happen, as long as this is fully supported. But let's do a side-by-side. All right, next up we got the Thunderhawk compared to the vintage one. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to go with that kind of burgundy red versus a true red. I'm not sure. Because then these are all still mock-ups. Things can change. Now, I want to point out that the cheapest one, I got to look at it again here. The cheapest one that's available to buy on eBay that has a box, or any box, that is the US version. Because there's a UK version and Canadian version. They did different versions for different countries. But the US version is $250. That's the cheapest you could get this on eBay right now. But it comes with a complete vehicle. So that's also pretty good. The complete vehicle's probably worth $150 to $170. And then the box on top of that. So right now, things change as time goes by. Maybe someone's going to pop up with a box. And if you get one that's like a Canadian box, it's cheaper. It's like $160 or something. So anyhow, this does look really close, slightly different, but I mean, close enough for me. Now, I want to point this out. Now, if you go spend $250, you're going to get a box that's got some dents and dings, and it's obviously not mint. This is not mint. Far from mint. You wouldn't grade this which I wouldn't grade anything anyway under any circumstance. But people who grade stuff wouldn't grade this. It's got a rip in the front and all this. I'd still be proud to own this in my collection, but I'd much rather see the new one on the shelf, as long as I get the colors right, the reds right and all that. I'd rather see the new one on the shelf. It's close enough. It works for me. It gets the job done. And I think this is right. It's not exactly the same thing, and it's different enough that the average collector is going to notice and not get bamboozled on eBay thinking they're buying an original Thunderhawk sealed for, $180 when it's really a $50 one. So $50 versus $250 is the best deal out there, and you get a sealed one. I think a lot of people just keep them sealed, and it'll be their box representation. All right, so next up we've got the Switchblade, and I'm going to just go straight into the side-by-side, I guess. I guess that's what I'm doing now. Now, I want to say this. This is going to be the huge departure from having the original. You're going to have an original box in order for it to say Switchblade. But the art's similar. The art's the same. The colors are going to be more vibrant. The cheapest box that you can find is like $89. So, yeah, it's actually a pretty good price to get a box if you've already got the vehicle and all that stuff. Problem again gets into inserts. It's like this is one box that I've noticed, the Switchblade box really needs inserts because it doesn't stay together, stay up on the shelf. Most of them. The one I'm looking at here looks okay, but most of them don't kind of hold the form without the inserts on the Switchblade box. Most of the other mass boxes will hold their form relatively well without needing all the other stuff inside. So anyway, this is one where it's a departure. Now, a lot of people are going to say, Mike, you don't got any jokes. I actually have a lot of jokes, and if I make a video and don't have a few jokes in there, then you need to call me out for that, because I'm straying away from what this should be. This should be fun. But I'm saving my naming convention joke for the next one. So this is called the High Tech Helicopter, or HTH. Sounds a whole lot like some other stuff, like some steroids, right? TRT. Okay. The real joke is coming for the next one. But looking at this, there's some cool stuff. But take note of the position of the missile and the artwork of the missile, because we're going to be seeing something with that later on. And it's funny now looking at the artwork, that missile does not match the original toy missile at all. But I'm going to tell you, this gives you the feels. If you don't have them side by side, you see it in the store, it's going to feel exciting. It's going to be fun. $75 versus, well, a Switchblade completes about $150, plus this box is $90. So, not bad though. Not bad. I mean, in all reality, the box should be closer. Why does Hasbro let these licenses for the names as simple as Switchblade get taken away from them? Will somebody develop a sticker that you could stick over this that says Switchblade and has the actual... Yeah, maybe somebody will do that. That's like lucrative, right? Make the sticker that perfectly fits over it, and your new box will say Switchblade. So next up, we've got the Mobile Defense Unit. This is Rhino, and it looks pretty good. It looks great. This is a $100 vehicle. Hearing SDCC, I'm hearing this thing is going to be like a Swiss Army knife of stuff in it. It's going to have Vac Metal at SDCC. It's going to have Scott and T-Bob in it at SDCC. It's going to have all kinds of stuff. It's going to be either 150 or 170. But I'm hearing all kinds of crazy nonsense about SDCC. But $100 for the standard one, with you get what you get. You don't throw a fit. And you get 2 masks for each figure. And notice, I'm not noticing if the... I can't even tell. I got to zoom in on that. Yeah. So the second mask appears to have permanently attached stuff to it. The effects. That sucks. I don't like that. I was hoping it would be swappable, usable. That's weird. That's real weird. Oh well, 2 weeks ago update is disappointing me. Alright, I said I got jokes, but I'm not going to disappoint. The name makes absolutely no sense. So loyal subjects had to have asked Fans Toys, what do you name? What would you name this thing? And they said, I'd probably name it Loudus. Loudus is a good name. No, let's ask X-Transbots. X-Transbots, what would you name this? Keith's like, that looks like a Marcus Aurelius. Like, no, we're not going for that. We gotta name Rhino something. So they asked Lenny at the G.I. Joe team, the G.I. Joe Classified team. And Lenny said, well, that's obvious. That's obviously a mobile defense unit. You've got to name it that. All right, I hope people just have some fun and laugh at the jokes. I mean, that's what jokes are for, right? Laughing, not getting, don't got offended over that. Anyway, side by side, this is how they look, and very, very similar. The angles, it's hard to capture any pictures at the exact same angles, but you can kind of see what's going on. Probably the exact same transformation sequence and stuff that's shown on the top, the sides, and all the features and all of that. We're going to get into more features with this pretty soon here. But as you can see, this is the cheapest one you can get. It's kind of tough, actually, to say the cheapest, but generally, you're looking at $200 plus for a box, and not even in that great a condition. So, $200 for a box that's in rough shape by itself, and you're looking at close to $300 for not sealed, but just a vehicle with the box. So, $100, they're looking at the secondary market with this very hard, where they decide the pricing. So now, looking at this, would you be happy with this on your shelf as your box, and then put a vintage one in front of it, or those kinds of things? There's a lot of options. A lot of collectors already have this stuff. They're like, why would I buy this? Well, because, do you have the box already? Well, then, no reason to buy it, I guess. But I'm still buying at least one of each. Now, we've got to talk about these extra Easter egg features that they're going to pack in. And we'll go through them pretty quick, because there is a working winch in here. All right, so we've got the Thunderhawk with this projectile thrower. It's like a mine throwing device, I guess is what it's called. I'm not even 100% sure what it does, but it was allegedly in the series. So this was some commenter, and they put this picture up, which is really awesome that somebody found this. See, that's how hardcore the fan base is. Like, what is this? And somebody goes and finds it and shows it. So user David found this. Thanks, David, for stepping up and showing people what's going on. I didn't even know. Like, I knew that there were other features and stuff that the vehicles did, but I didn't know specifically what scene and where to find it, which is really awesome. And it does sort of launch these. I don't know if there's a spray mechanism or if it's going to be one of those that you... It's got to be spring, right? Yeah, it's got to be a spray mechanism, but still, it's one of the features. Thunderhawk's going to have the kind of the fire in the jets. We saw this in the past, but this is more updated. I still feel like this is all Ritters, but it's still kind of cool that you can do this. So technically, you cannot take these out of this and go put it in a vintage one. So this is a feature. It's worked into the actual vehicle so they can accept these effects, and that's cool. For those of us that are just going to leave the box sealed, these aren't going to do us any good, but knowing that it can do it helps us sleep at night. So the only one I saw for Condor was just a blast effect for the front, which is fine. You have a $30 price point. I'm sure there's more that it does. I think it's got like a kickstand on it now. But there's more to it that it does that they're not revealing. They're keeping their cards, holding their cards close to the chest on this for whatever reason. But anyway, let's get into what we see with this one right here. So Switchblade, or whatever they call it, high-tech helicopter. So when you saw the box art, the artwork, it showed the missile firing. And so this will let you relive the artwork that you stared at for all those days that you didn't get it when you went to the toy store. And all people who have a box, but look at their box for 30 years, then you could do that. Still looks like a very, very dark purple instead of a lighter pink windshield, which at the end of the day, I'm okay with it. See, vintage is vintage, and this is a different thing. It doesn't need to exactly match vintage to me, and with that, I like it. I like that they still have some of all the features, the functions, the buttons and switches, and all that stuff in the same place. And I would still like the back metallized chrome, but I mean, it is what it is. We live in 2025. I have indeed heard some people complaining about this, though. People are saying that these are stickers. These are not stickers. This is digital render stuff. This is molded in detail, not stickers. Molded in detail. Where we got stickers in the vintage, this is molded in detail in paint apps. Several paint apps in there to make this happen. I thought that these are also going to double as buttons. You press in buttons to do some sort of action. And it may very well still happen. They probably planned in like 4 or 5 Easter eggs, and the higher the price point goes, the more Easter eggs are planned in. That's my belief. For the Rhino, or the Mobile Defense Unit, MDU, they have planned for you the ramming feature, because you can't get enough of ramming, but also the blast effects that go into the smoke pipes there, the exhaust. It works good. It works good. But the new feature that was kind of surprising people was an actual working winch. And so with that, the winch itself, which David put a picture up too, was used in the show. So you got a working winch. Winch was used in the show. I use a blue rope or cord, but that is cool. And it's different. It looks like you're going to turn this, and it's going to be like a gear, rub it up against another gear, and it's going to pull it in there. It's fine. It's simplistic kind of stuff that they've mastered in the 80s. Should be easy to do in 2025. But there it is. So it's different. So you're not going to confuse this with a vintage one in any way, shape, or form. And men everywhere have been looking for a working winch their whole life. That's all I got. I wish I had more. Ramen Toy is doing some stuff too with their Machina line. They're just repainting their Great White. If you're interested in that, go check it out. Stay on top of the Ramen Toy page for that, and stay on top of the Loyal Subjects Facebook page for all these updates. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Do you like the packaging? Is it what you expected? It's almost exactly what I expected, and I'm hoping they fix the reds. And I'm hoping really it's just my certain point of view that looks like the red's off. But I want to hear from everybody in the comments, so like and subscribe. Happy Retro Wednesday. I'll be back with a full collection of an entire toy line next week. Condor out.